Hi, welcome to your last video from me. Hopefully you have enjoyed following along with my videos lectures so far, and you should be very close to done with all of your assignments and just those final tests to go. So this is an overview of chapter 11 that you're going to be reading for this final uh, piece of the class. You're going to be looking at intervention, multiculturalism and early intervention, family-centered. We'll go over some definitions, uh, program planning, looking at determination of services needed, the implementation, strategies, and evaluation. So let me go ahead and give you a little bit of an overview for Chapter 11. Chapter 11 focuses on interventions for young children with special needs. I'm going to go ahead and read the definition to you. It is the intentional application of resources with the aim of developing, improving, changing, or maintaining conditions within an individual environment or interactions between an individual and the environment. Intervention always results in both intended and unexpected outcomes, which may be either positive or negative in nature. As the astute student moves through this final chapter, and given this intervention definition, it should be clear that in some fashion, intervention occurs at nearly every intersection between children, families, and professionals. Across the board, psychologists, teachers, speech and language therapists, physical and occupational therapists, audiologists, physicians, nutritionists, social workers, and other professionals can work together in a variety of models in order to intentionally apply resources to benefit the child. Excuse me. Holding tightly to the principles of outcome and accountability, early intervention for young children with special needs views the family as a key unit for intervention services. Parental involvement is paramount to the success of the young child, and intervention is not only participatory, but it's relational also. There are a variety of barriers to implementing effective early intervention services that are family involvement associated. In addition to the antiquated notion that therapy should solely be child-centric, cultural mismatches between service providers and families offer new challenges for early interventionists and other professionals. A child must be given the best possible chances at having a successful, detailed assessment, and families and caregivers must be offered the opportunity to actively participate in their child's intervention. While progress has been made addressing some of these barriers, the involvement of families remains an ongoing challenge for the early interventionist and other professionals. Additionally, according to IDEA, all children deserve a meaningful educational experience. In order to accomplish this, educational programming must be based around the specific strengths and weaknesses of the child from his or her comprehensive assessments. Regardless of how the child comes to intervention, federal law mandates specific procedures for allocating special education services. Assessing the child, forming the individualized service plan either via an IEP for children over the age of 5 or an IFSP, individualized family service plan for children under 5, includes the family in the planning process, links assessment and intervention, implements intervention, and checks in on successes. Those are all important aspects of any plan. Both the IEP and the IFSP strive to place young children in the least restrictive environment. That is, the child should receive services only that are necessary to address his or her needs in the appropriate setting. And as we talked about before, that could be a school-based setting, that could be a home-based or childcare setting, whatever that might be. Additionally, both plans will address family involvement, functional goals, and all levels of learning. Various philosophical approaches affect the way that an intervention might be planned. While developmental models emphasize a child's biological makeup, believing that the development occurs along a predictable course, behavioral models are based on the principles of behavioral psychology and are mediated by cause and effect relationships, as well as the antecedents and consequences of behaviors. Language-based programs focus on language development, and skills-based programs highlight social skills development. Contextual models tend to emphasize the role of a child's environment in shaping the development of the young child. In this role, excuse me, in this model, the role of the family, community, and greater society are considered. The contextual model approach has contributed to important theoretical variants, including the socio-historical theory and the transactional approach. There has even been recent work to adapt the response to intervention, the RTI model, from the school-age literature for young children with special needs. In this regard, the recognition and response system is based on a problem-solving model that hierarchically relies on screening, assessment, and progress monitoring of targeted, evidence-based interventions at different levels of needs and intensity. Excuse me. This latter approach holds the promise of increasing the chances of positive child learning and or behavioral outcomes. One additional benefit that has been reported with this approach is that early interventionists also improve their classroom management. Sorry. It is important to note that a larger number of early childhood curricula has been developed to address the needs of young children with special needs from these various philosophical approaches, and that the early interventionist should be cognizant of those different approaches and how they may align or not with their program's overall goals and objectives. Throughout these interventions, constant evaluation keeps the providers accountable. Three major components comprise effective evaluation: efficiency of service, overall child outcomes, and overall family outcomes. In order to conduct a program evaluation, the professional must first isolate the target audience to collect and analyze data. From there, the early interventionists can report their findings to other members of the intervention team and make modifications to create the most tailored intervention available for the targeted youngster. The routine use of these evaluation components should facilitate positive developmental progress for the child and their family, and they should contribute ongoing improvement in the early childhood program for all of the children. Because ultimately, when we do provide those services to the targeted child, we also want to make sure that the other kids are learning alongside of them, since the focus anymore seems to be the whole and including those typically developing children as well as the targeted children. So hopefully this was a good overview for you, and you look forward to reading that. Again, I look forward to seeing your final projects coming in soon, and thank you so much for a great term. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I have. Have a great rest of your school year, and good luck.